Okay, folks. Back to where we were. Now, these wire things we were working on last night for the Tiger. And we'll probably take a look at this evening. I don't really want to mess with this, but if this method didn't work, it's just because it's going to be too thick here. But we epoxied those things in there, and we'll see how that looks. I wish they would have just given me the whole piece already cast in there, T-34 85. Now, I hadn't even looked at the box art really, but way back when this was not such an old kit, I remember these, the box art on this stuff is really, really nice. I don't know why they refer to this as the Volga. Just a T-34 85. Oh, we got to give them some kind of a name. I said, well, Volga is, they weren't even fighting on the Volga when these started coming out. I don't think T-34 85s came out until really late 43, if not early 44. And the ones that came out of really late 43 did not have this kind of gun mantlet. They had a gun mantlet that's kind of like straight and had some bolts showing on it. It's not bad looking, the older gun mantlet, but that was the early run on it. I didn't really look at this box art before. It's obviously in Manchuria where it's tussling with a Chiha, which is greatly outclassed by the Soviet tanks. 57 millimeter short gun on the Chiha just doesn't stand a chance. So this is the kind of box art that you saw when you were a kid, and you're like, oh man, that's cool. Su-85 there. An elephant. Really cool box art. Regardless of whether it may or may not be accurate. All right. I don't know what's going on here. 2 tanks, only 1 set of decals, only 1 set of tracks. Well, I'll take them. All right, so we've got everything up in this zone. Headlamp, piece 14. And the machine gun piece too. Oh, let's make sure the chat stuff's up. Here's a machine gun. the exhaust. Oh, and here's the headlamp in a pool of overpour. Wow. All right, it should be enough to keep me busy here for a little bit. Not a whole lot of builds other than like hardly anything on the hull. Good morning. So I don't know how successful this is going to be, but this is on the Tiger. It had the front of the cables were plastic, and then you're supposed to attach this metal cable underneath. Now the problem is this should work fine. The problem is look at the thickness. It's going to be a lot thicker here in the middle. So we'll make it work. I don't know if it's going to look really weird, but I think this it'll hold together. My confidence in epoxy is. I don't know if I'm going to like how it looks, but we'll see what we can do. So I wouldn't have been able to do that 20 years ago. I would have been like, I don't know what to do, and not put it on, which would have been okay. I just wish they would have given you a whole thing in plastic or the whole thing in metal. What they should have done is just given you that thing and then give you the ends to put them in it. But it'll either turn out okay or not. Drill out the exhaust here. Exhaust. Let's be creative how we say normal words. It's not start bending over. It's not time to. I got it. I got about another hour and a half before I start getting bent over. To hold off on the bend overdom. Okay. Yeah, I had a really late dinner last night. Almost forgot to eat. That would have been bad. Then you gain weight. I hate that. But it did keep me from snacking. It's amazing how much time some of this stuff takes. Like I said, don't make any plans. Well, that was with airbrushing. Well, this is a lot less time consuming than airbrushing because you're going to get stuff done. Airbrusher, you may not get anything done. That's a real roll of the dice there. Now, I don't know if my solution that I have for this is going to work. We're going to try this. We're going to try my solution on the first T-34. Not the second one, the first one. And the solution is I don't have a set of tracks for it. It only came with one set of tracks. So I have an old SU model that had too much slack in it, and someone convinced me, oh yeah, just put it in hot water to shrink it, and it made it too small. But now, because this is 176, really? Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, okay. All right, so where's the machine gun? I'm not stopping what I'm doing. I don't give a fuck. I'll find it later. It wouldn't be the first one of those machine guns I got to remake. Anyhow, like I was fucking saying, um, I have this other set of track here that now it's plenty long for it. It's just 1/72nd scale. So I'm going to try to use it as is. And if it looks too wide, maybe cut one side of it off. I think that solution should work okay. So anyhow, let's put these in before something else happens. And it's got little pegs, but they don't go all the way in. Just haven't felt like painting lately. I will on the weekend. And this bloody headlamp. I've yet to see any of these designed well. The headlamps. How the fuck am I going to find that? I am looking for it now. It should work, yeah. Well, the nice thing is all my other T-34s are all 1/76th as well. So they scale perfectly. And this turret is different than any of the other turrets that I have. It has this little flat spot in it. Which one of the factories did that, or several of the factories did that. So they look different than the other ones. It should work. I'm not going to put it on now, but And then we'll run, yeah, it's plenty long now. Yeah. Yep. And so it's a little wider. Who gives a shit? I don't. Can also use some of your spare bits to pimp up. Absolutely. There's not much extra stuff. But the one thing that there is, every single T-34 I have has this spare track stuck in that spot. So if I wanted to vary it, I can't. It's all stuck there. They all have this the saw thing. So at least I have some T-34s that look different. And look, not all of them have headlamps. I was shorted some of them. Be the first thing that freaking fell off of a real tank. We don't need the lights to drive at night. However, they do have the little fuel tanks notched in here. So if you don't put them in there, it's going to look weird. So yes, we were going to be pimping these out. Yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't had that conversation. Now, one thing I hated about these is when I put these together, it was really hard to tell which one of the two ends was the outside and which is the inside, because I'm like, they must have molded these barrels wrong where they look completely straight across. And I looked at them and I looked at them. They didn't have hardly any taper at all. It was flat on both ends. Of course, we drilled out that. I don't know why I guess this has never been fired before. Usually I got smoky ends of the barrels, but that one doesn't have it. I'm like, they must be cast a crappy cast. Look at this one. This one's also straight across. There's like no taper at all on this barrel. How truly strange. All right. I guess we'll put tow hooks. I guess a good thing to have would probably be some double-sided tape. Put a little piece of double-sided tape to help hold these pieces down. I don't know. Two T-34s for $2 isn't bad, even if one of them doesn't come with tracks. If I make that work and it found a use for these tracks I had. I'm gonna drill these out a little bit bigger. I swear they just don't make these things worth a damn anymore. They unscrew themselves while you're using them. And the other one should be at the bottom. Hey, look, and it has a bottom on this tank just for you. These 3-piece went together as they should have. Unlike the SU ones that are terrible. Or the Airfix one that was terrible. Okay, the flanges go towards the bottom. It's like a boat hook. So when you pull this thing across, it'll hold it in place. So the longer flange faces down. This bastard. I think I need to buy another pair of tweezers and make my own rubber tipped ones with some hot glue or something. Because the ones I bought just are too damn thick. And this one goes here. And likewise, the longer prongs go towards the bottom. I think it's natural to make them both go towards the top. And that's the right-wrong answer. Well, rewind the video. Where the fuck did it go? It was right here. It didn't even bounce anywhere. Okay, this is starting to get worse than Mitch rolling fucking dice. Well, this one's, I was just talking with my hands. Oh, how did you end up here? Oh, here's the machine gun. So all you gotta do is stop looking for something and it shows up. Dude, I was right here. Well, you know what? Fuck you. We'll find you when you find you. Jeez. This is a sign of the bullshit I'm going to have to deal with today. Wow, this is going to be a pain to trim. I'm going to remove the whole thing. I have one issue with Chad's prints. It's the giant holes in the bottom. I know it's necessary for the detail, though, and yes, I still paint the bottom. It's actually not necessarily for the detail. It's necessary for the curing. So I've heard. I've read many things by, not many things, but it's come up frequently, that Plastic Soldier Company, when they started doing their 3D prints, I guess to compete with their competition, not leave a way for the gases to escape. I don't know what it is, but there needs to be some give. and the holes provide that give. And they weren't doing that, and they literally would, their resin things would explode. What's up, Opal Ealing? Healing and fulfilling. All right, let's get to the business end here. Anyway, somebody was mentioned something last night. I forget which one of you guys did it, but said something. And I was a tankophile. I'm like, I think it was Dan. I think that's awesome. That'd be a great name for a channel. Tankophiles. Tony's Tankophiles. But then we do some things that aren't tanks, so. Actually got some nice weld marks on that turret. It's slippery. This is slipperier than snot. I'm afraid of washing all these parts before and losing a part. So. And I don't have any plastic trays to wash it in. Well, I guess it was a good thing that I did all those part sorts. Now I could find the T-34 extra parts. What's next after this? Man, you're trying to get me to. All right, well, I'm not going to commit to it, okay? Like, I'm willing, I can change my mind at any time. But what I think is next after the T-34 is probably the Farfignugan. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. That dementedly named thing. What's that thing called? Oh, now it's not there. Now it fell down. Neubaufahrzeug. This thing. Unless I get discouraged. And by being discouraged is, I didn't realize that they make a 1. This is 2, and they make a 3 to 5. And I don't know if this one was the one that made it to you. You know, I'm painting that fucking gray and it's going to the Ukraine. I'm not putzing around Norway where only one of them went into action. Like, it went into action against troops I have no interest in building, like Norwegians. Like, I'm not building Norwegian troops. Sorry, you guys just weren't in it long enough. I'd rather do Polish. I mean, if I'm going to do a minor nation that lasted weeks, well, actually Norway lasted longer than weeks, but I'm doing Poland because at least they have their own intrinsic equipment and tanks and everything. That's an odd looking tank, yeah. Yeah, it actually I thought it just has a 75 millimeter gun, but it has a 75 with a coax 37. I bet they didn't have any AP for the 75 at all. I mean, they made AP for that 75, but I don't think that they would. Otherwise, what would they have the 30s? Just like they probably didn't have any HE for the 37. You got some winter Romanians for me when ready. It's going to be a while, man. Winter Romanians. Next thing you know, I got winter Italians and I got some T-34s. I'll have to convert with that big white stripe across the top of them. And no, I got to put a dent on the stuff that you gave me before I start messing with any more. Next thing of yours, I'll probably paint, not counting if I do. Well, I'm going to do more of the desert guys, but the U.S. tank crew, the bailing out tank crew figures. That's probably next on the Marcus. You can tell I'm not super worried about playing. I'm really not. Otherwise, I'm like, I need winter Germans for my winter tanks. I'm like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. We're just keep moving the ball forward. Just keep moving it forward. Might be a hockey puck, might be a basketball, might be just keep going. Of course, it's not a drilled out barrel. Why would that be? That technology hadn't been invented yet. Got those two. No. I need to put a dent on this stuff. I got those beautiful Italians to do. I got some good stuff from you. And I got to put a dent on this, or I got a month and a half to build some of these. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put them though. I got my project box is full, but it's funny because I don't consider myself a good builder. That's not fair. I suck as a builder compared to painting. I'm definitely a I don't know if it's more enjoyable, but let's mix it up, you know. This needs smoothing from all directions. And I gotta finish that the Messerschmitt. I I'm my own worst fucking enemy sometimes. I swear. I got that Messerschmitt to finish, and I've got those two winter things. I told that guy I was going to do. Well, I got all May to do it. They may be out on May 31st. Memorial Day, I don't think we're traveling. We're being invaded by children, so that might not be. Even though it's a long weekend, that might actually not be a really productive weekend for me. Or maybe just the mornings. Those kids sleep in late. Detroit Mike, do I dabble in other builds or just military? Just military. Just military. Now, you got me thinking, what would I build that's not military? I thought about building that plane that my dad used to have. That's a hard plane to find a model of. It's not a military plane. Beechcraft staggered wing. I don't dabble in other scales. I would build civilian stuff before I would build military and 48th scale. I'm not building 32nd. I'm not building 48th. Cars. I haven't done a car. I would do a car. they're just, I don't know what cars I would do. Cars I've owned, they don't make models of those cars. You know, I've never been fortunate enough to have a sports car. Didn't have it in the budget before, don't have it in the budget now. Wish I had it in the budget now, but there's lots of models that they don't make of. What car would I do? I don't know. And the car models are weird scales, like 124th, 125th, 143rd. Isn't there like a 140? Like that's an asshole scale. Like, dude, at least pick an even number, or at least a factor of five. um, Not into space stuff. Planes are fair game. What were you thinking of? Cars? Rat rods? I guess I could do American cars I don't dislike. I, I love this country. I'm just not a fan of domestic vehicles. Now, there are some that are pretty cool. Now, if I probably got in one, I probably wouldn't enjoy driving it. The kind that go, you can move the steering wheel like this and the vehicle doesn't move. I'm like, yeah, I want a little bit more pursuit. I like the rice burners, but what American cars would I build? I don't know. They probably don't make a. They don't make a lot of. Do they make a lot of mundane cars? And it's a shame. I really think that the best stuff should be made here, but QC and all that. Now everybody has QC issues. 168 Run Runner was your first car. Yeah, see, I didn't have a car until the late '90s for my first car. I was a late bloomer to cars. I didn't get that. So what did I see the other day was absolutely beautiful. Let me think. I should write this down because Mustangs. I'm not a Mustang fan. Um, I'm not a fan of the Ford logo. I wish they would have. Need to redo that logo. It's very outdated looking. But for Mustangs are like 1911 pistols. I dislike almost the look of almost all of them. And then one comes around that is just beautiful. God, what vehicle was it? It was on a show, and it wasn't a car show. I forget what the hell it was. Oh, you know what show it was? It was in that new Tim Allen show that I was watching with the wife. That's not a very good show, but he has a car repair shop in that. And they had a, God, what car? It was a 60 something. I don't remember what it was. It was a good looking car, aesthetically. Like, all right, I've never driven one. On the outside, the new Challenger is gorgeous. That's retro done right. I really like the way it looks. No, it probably wouldn't handle to my liking, and I'm a stick shift person, and they make it in stick shift, but aesthetically on the outside, that's a good looking vehicle. That's a really good looking vehicle. Somebody worked as a Mustang Bullet. The 60s and 70s produced some beautiful cars. Yes, some. I think almost all of the 50s cars are ugly as sin. I don't like that whole Eisenhower take me to the moon, thing with the wings. They all, in my opinion, look really unattractive. 57 Chevys, I think they're ugly looking. Cars from the 40s, they look okay. Cars from the 30s, some of them look okay. Something happened with the 50s, they just, the rockets look better than the cars, at least to me. You do car models. What's more popular, 24th or 25th? I know they're sometimes interchangeable, but you could tell the difference. I should do a car model. And the car models in the model group be like, hey, you never build cars. I build a car. Holy fuck, that's the first car you've ever built? I say, yeah, but that's not the very first thing I painted. It's not my first rodeo. I've just never entered this event before. But a lot of the car modelers, what they tell me is, and this is kind of, I found this really interesting, is that, oh, we got to make sure we put the right one on the right side. I think that's the one on the right. May not be. I better grab a reference. Is that they don't even paint the car. They just polish it. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Well, hopefully it's molded in the color you want, or you're up a creek. And I don't give a shit how much people believe in it. I'm not using enamel paints. I grew up when that's the only thing there was, and I ain't using no damn enamel paints. I like I like cleaner that's basically free. Let's look at the front of a T-34 85. See if we've got one. Make sure we've got the. Okay, the bigger one's on the left, on the right hand side. Or is it? Holy smokes. No. It's bigger on this side. Yeah, it's like that. Let's put the book back where you found it. Yeah, the problem with building cars, then I got to listen to all these old guys say, yeah, I had one of these when I was a kid. I mean, well, I didn't have shit. Like, maybe I shouldn't build cars. Yeah, I was the only one of my friends that didn't have a car when they moved out, but I was the first one to move out. So I'll be the last one without a fucking car. I ain't taking that public train. I got years to catch up on everybody else. What else is there other than car? I'd do ships, but I don't want to model the water. I love ships. I love warships. I don't know, like I've never been into the space program stuff because like the stuff isn't armed. Like I'm not excited. I'm a pacifist, but stuff with guns is cool. I am an American. We like things with guns. That's how Americans used to be. Right, Justin? The problem is a lot of the cars that I like all have this, or Japanese, and they have the steering column on that back assward side. And that would just annoy me. that time for me to start the breakfast. Enjoy the day. Okay, don't forget your hairnet. Now the instructions on this actually tell you to pry this open. Push turret in by thumb. So in other words, there's no notch here. Even though there's a notch here, there's no notch there. And they want you to, well, it actually doesn't fit in bad. It's not a bad recommendation. AK, AR, pistols, revolvers. I have a hard time getting it. I don't like guns of the Old West or Old West looking ones. There's some revolvers that I find attractive, but it's rare. ARs, I don't like I don't like the loading mechanism on an AR. The whole it's weird. And I don't like the AK being on the wrong fucking side. Like it needs to be on the left, end of story. It's not debatable. I think it's time to put the roof on. Put on the roofus. Come on, tell me you fit okay. You fit okay. Ooh, the front of this is kind of cantankerous. I'll probably do a car at some point. Every one of them old guys got a story about a car. Oh, I had this car when I was a kid, whatever. Yeah, I have that shit. The thing is about cars is I got this guy I used to work with, and I'd talk about cars with him. And one of our sticking points always is he liked things that were wagons. And you wouldn't I'd rather walk than drive in a fucking station wagon. See, I'm scarred, and my parents had fucking station wagons, and there's no way I'd have a minivan or a station wagon, any of that shit. Especially a station wagon. God bless it, they're ugly. Well, you didn't get dropped off at school in a station wagon. I'd tell him, and he's like, yeah, I didn't. I said, yeah, they look like a freaking grocery getter. So anything that remotely looks like a grocery getter, I'm like, hands off, hands off. .38 special. I had one handed to me, and I sold it. I traded it in. It wasn't pleasurable to fire. It was a S&W Airlight. It kicked too much. 5 rounds. You know, there's nothing wrong with a round. Just wasn't my thing. I don't have a rifle. That's too expensive. I don't want to spend $2,000. I'd rather spend $2,000 on models than $2,000. We could buy a rifle for less than $2,000. I said, yeah, but I don't want an AR. I'd want an FAL, and I can't justify. I don't want to justify getting an FAL. You know, I'm not going to use it enough to, you know, shooting cardboard, justify that kind of stuff. I'd get one if I wanted to bad enough. I just don't want to bad enough. You know, you got to be smart with your stuff. Now, hatches open or hatches closed? Well, one of them probably should be open. One of them probably should be closed. What's this? Does this ass clown work okay? Let's cut him out and see if he fits in here. I'm not opposed to using this figure, because we can paint him up like he's a somebody. We'll make something out of this guy, but I gotta make sure he's in the right pose and so forth. Yeah, he probably would work. One of them's definitely gonna have the hatch closed. I'm gonna go ahead and close this hatch, that way we've made that decision. HK-308 assault rifle. I have to figure out. I have to see what that is. I don't remember what that is. That the one that looks like a G3? Yeah. See, I wouldn't even bother having something that's 5.56. It doesn't. It's if you encounter something that's like a bear or something, 5.56 ain't gonna save you. That's not gonna do anything that 9 mil is not gonna do for you. People, you don't need that against people. But not 308, but 7.6251. But like I said, it's expensive. You don't want to buy something that's a piece of crap. I thought about getting an air rifle, for some pest control. Man, they're as expensive as freaking real guns. I'm spending 600 and something bucks on a freaking air rifle. I don't want to buy a piece of crap. You're better off not buying anything at all than buying a piece of crap. Rifles and handguns. Yeah, put them on there, man. I'll check them out. I haven't seen any of the gun channels in a while. I'm not in the market to buy anything, so. The thing I hate about guns is guns, cars, anything else. There was a monthly. We used to go to this defensive shoot. Mitch and I used to go. God, it was probably 10 years ago now. Man, I'm getting old. And half the people there were just unfriendly. And the other half were like fucking angry all the time. They were like this uber competitive. I'm like, dude, I just want to do better than I did last time. I'm not going to compete against you. It'd be like somebody that just like, hey, I want to get into modeling, and somehow they think they can model better, they can paint better than me. Like, this isn't going to happen, right? This is like, I got 40 years of experience, just like these people have 40 years of, shooting guns experience, right? So, just do better than yourself. And no, they got to be like the best person, and they get angry, not violently angry, but just like, bad vibes. We're going to have a good time, talk about guns and stuff, and be safe, and, camaraderie. And some people don't get it. And cars are the same way. You get people on there I've been to a couple car shows, and everybody's trying to one up each other. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that environment. There's always somebody that's going to have more shit than you. So I don't want to be around those people. Off to the coal mines. Okay. Yeah, guess I gotta go there soon. It's not yak shaving day though, so I got a few more minutes. Always a good idea to only paint when you have the mojo. Well, it's just the thing, Jeffrey, is I'll get started, and if I can't get enough of a run, all I did was get shit ready and didn't do anything. It's not that I'm giving up on painting. I mean, no, I'd rather have these things already built and paint. The people in the model group are like, "Oh, we don't like to paint things." Not everybody, But I'm like, that's where the magic. That's where the magic I create happens. I mean, I do a fair enough job of doing this, but my interest really is in the painting. And color choice, and I think I'm going to take that RC tank. I'm surprised that it's not too far out of 1/72nd scale, and make it for Tunisia. I'm sorry, Tunisia. What is that from? Although it works, you know, chewed out a lot of troops and spit them out. And then I go to read what olive green I want to do, just to be something different. And then the jury's out that was it even olive green? I'm like, great, another controversy. Well, I better solve it to my liking before I get involved in something that I don't like it. And some people claim that they were never olive green. There were two different shades, and the camo you could barely see them. I said, well, a two shaded sand camouflage tiger would look awfully good. But I'm reading about Tunisia that I don't really know a whole lot about. And, people always say that Rommel isn't that good. And I agree to a degree. Well, I'm not going to say he's a bad commander. He was just took off an awful lot of risks. But Arnhem, man, it seems like Arnhem sucks. Arnhem is not very good at all. And he looks like he's not any fun at parties. He's that shitty little mustache he has. If you're going to be friends with a German, make sure they don't have a mustache. But I'm still floored about the whole Allies not having complete air supremacy. Like Western Allies not having complete air supremacy. I'm like, I'm floored with it. Like, when did this happen? And nobody told me. Okay, that's awfully weird. That doesn't line up. Would have thought all these fuel tanks would have been the same. I find saying a few words of thanks to the genius Loki and then stop looking for things. I lose. Helps them turn up quickly. Yep. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty careful. And it's really frustrating to be like, dude, it was right here. Like, I didn't even make any sudden movements. Oh, well, you just need to just like, it's almost kind of like the gods are like, you're not going to finish this model. Well, you know what? Screw you. I'll finish it in my own way. You're not the boss of me. Like I've said before, if I'm having these issues, other people are having much bigger ones because I'm pretty careful. But, shit happens. I'm human. I'm trying to work on that, but, my humanity gets in the way. Salt mine 30. I could build the Bond cars. I'm not a big fan of that early Aston Martin though. This seems like it's really slow. But maybe it was really fast for its day. I don't know. But I am a scalist. I won't start like, I will have this one plane in 132nd and this one tank in 148th and this other ship and this other scale. I'm like, that's just too much jumping around. That's just too much jumping around. So I think having, oh, we said we were going to glue this one shut, turret wide shut. Both of these are going to be winter, by the way. These are both going to be winter T-34 E5s, or have some kind of winter camouflage on them, and not applied sloppily. I don't know that I'm going to have any sloppily applied winter camouflages. They don't have to be showroom quality, but they can't look like ass. Because then it makes it look like you don't know what the hell you're doing. These longer tracks will work just for the store. Get us some of that, the damn copper wire, drill some through here. I mean, I could use the one I have, but I like using the idea of using a thinner one. And some of these, it may still be too long, and that's just fine. We'll just staple it together. But they only gave me one set of tracks, so there's no point in not using this 1/72nd scale. Let's see how close we are. Hell, this would look all right. Just even if it's, you just don't want it like straight across. This thing's bumpy from putting it in that damn hot water. If I can make that track on that German half track work, I'll be able to make this work. I think it'll look okay. And these are attractive vehicles. I think they are. They have good lines. Finally, a three-man turret. Hallelujah. Now the stink is even stinkier. I spent 10 minutes looking for my phone. I couldn't tell you how many times that happens all the time. I bring my phone into my walk-in closet to get ready. And then I go to work, get in the car. I'm like, oh, I don't have a phone to plug in. Where did I put it? And it's always in the freaking walk-in closet. Von Arnim was the de facto commander of the Afrika Korps for long periods as Rommel spent so much time ill or away on leave. Yeah, he got all jaundiced and stuff, didn't he? Anyhow, this is where we'll leave off. How does this scale perfect do with this thing? Perfectly. Just perfectly. And while I'm thinking about it, the inside of this track's not detailed. I don't give a shit. I'll pick my battles. I can't fight I'm not going to fight every battle. Is this the right length? So in other words, can I staple this? Is this what I want to do? I want to staple it together. Oh, this track is like pleasant compared to that other one. Yeah, looks like it's too long also. I mean, it's too short also. Now, these wheels are way too close. Like, you get a pebble or something like that, you'll detract the whole thing. But this is one of those, you take it out of the package. Oh, man, there's only one track. Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to build these things. So, like, oh, screw you guys. And we're gonna beautify these up. Pimp them out. I think pimp them out. That's the correct terminology. Yep. Yeah, and I like that it has a different turret. That's cool. It has a little flat spot there on that. There's a couple different ones that I don't. They have the one that's the mixture that has like that weld line. It comes straight here and then it drops down at an angle and then comes back around. It's all good. Some I think have only one ventilator back here. This says the double ventilator in the back. Rommel had a terrible heroin habit that took him out of the war for extended periods. They call it medical issues. Did he? I don't know. I don't know shit about drugs. Now, if he had a drinking problem, I'd know what he drank. Even though I rarely drink. I don't know shit about drugs. I'm proud of it. Okay, folks. See you guys on the next one. Detroit Mike, thanks for coming by. Maybe I'll look at some cars today. And if you come back tomorrow, I'll be like, cars I'd build. I just wish they made them in other scales, you know? I guess 1/72nd scale cars would be too small. All right, folks, we'll see you guys on the next. Oh, I did build some cars. I did build some cars. Hold on a second. I did build some cars. My Gasland cars. How quickly I forget. Yeah, I got some good looking cars. Here's the first one that I did. And then I started getting a little challenging myself. I know they're not in my own way. So this is one of those funky looking things. I just gave it I did some weathering and gave it to black wash. This is the first one I did. I had to do something with a windshield. But this is the color it came in. I don't want to change it. I was really happy with that one. What was the name of this one? Hold on. They all have names. Oh, Tantrum. This is the Tantrum. Anyways, that's all I did was just paint that one. But then some. This one's modified. I haven't decided to glue this on for whatever reason. I guess this is a Bronco. Let's flip this around. This thing's repainted. Look at them happy headlights. I will do more cars, but this scale. Of course, I put guns in them. Does this one have a driver in it? Yeah, he sure as hell does. Let's see if I can get to him. He's fully painted. No, he's in there somewhere. There's two people in there. Dudes on a date. There's some redneck looking dude. Yeah, buddy, motherfucker. I actually have a lot of these to do. Hold on, I got a couple more to show you. See, this is good. I like this stuff. What you did is just you get the fire building in me. Get excited about stuff. What do you got here? I don't remember what that one. I think that one's called. I don't remember what the name for it is. Puddle hopper, or something like that. This is a whacked out. I think this is supposed to be a 49 Mercury. It's got extra bolt-on panels on there. We had a little bit of rust, drilled holes in it. I do love this scale. I could do more. I could do more cars of these. I got a lot of these. These all had names. I don't remember what it is anymore. And then they don't necessarily have to be realistic looking. Oh. This is another one. I started just adding black lining to them. You know, like, why should I repaint these flames? This is the jalapeno popper. Just a little bit of black lining. This is a total fantasy one. I called this one Skeletor. I guess this is supposed to be the Punisher, something like that. And this one actually has the driver's in there. So I painted him, purple like Skeletor, but he's Skeletor. Now, the most dangerous thing I've done is taking these things apart. That is just absolutely dangerous. Good way to lose a finger. And my favorite one of all time. I'm proud of this thing. Hold on, I gotta set this one up for you. It's a great game. It's a good game. It just has a lot of loopholes. Hold on, let me get this guy where it goes. I forgot that I did these things. I spent a lot of time on this thing. Okay, you ready? I like these tricked out, fake, exaggerated looking ones. They actually look better. This one is called Hippie-ki-yay. And this is just an exaggerated bug bus. I love this thing. I forget I have it. Well, it's in safekeeping. All hand painted. Oh, it gets better. So these extra parts, it gets better. That's Dirty Dan, the backdoor man. He's in that back there with an AK. Let's see if we can zoom in on him. Come on, this needs to look good. My stuff looks good up close. Oh, he had TOD'd. This is the first time I've ever painted peace signs on anything. Oh, it gets better. I think the roof comes off, right? Because we have a driver. Herb. He's got his little tie-dye bandana. You better watch out. You might motivate me to do. I don't mind mixing around and building some of these, but these are a lot of fun to do. They're a lot of work, though. A lot of work. I mean, you're talking about the top of that. That's all hand painted. There's no washes or anything like that. Consider yourself motivated. Yeah. Remind me to do this from time to time. I don't have to get anything done by any particular time. So hopping around is just perfectly fine. And these toy vehicles have a shitload of detail on them. They really do. Yeah, and these are figures made by a company called Stan Johansson Miniatures. And they're 20 millimeter. It's the same scale as the rest of my 20 millimeter stuff. I mean, well, these are really 1/64th, but they're close enough for me. I'm not that much of a purist. But anyhow, Yeah, and these guys are actually painted. I know I can get into these guys. Hold on a second here. How much do I got time? I got time. You're gonna make me have a good day just by making me show you this. Thank you. All these pieces come apart. Oh yeah, this is the first time I painted plaid on these guys. I'd never painted plaid guys. Let's see. If I can just get this damn camera to, this video camera to focus. There we go. Here's the two guys inside the Mud Puppy. Mud Puppy is what the name of this thing is. That's what it is. Guy's got an AR-15 and some kind of, looks like a revolver or whatever with a scope on it or something like that. Yeah, a lot of these toys, man, they got good details. Now, what I've stopped doing is stripping the paint off of them because that's an extra step that isn't necessary. But tearing them apart is just harmful for your health. Trying to drill these things out is like just getting, it's you're putting your finger really close and having to put a lot of physical force on these things where you're asking for something to go sideways. And I'm not a fan of that. You know, but they take a while to paint, like even these rockets that are on the back of this thing. It's not just a simple wash. Like I've literally painted all of the shades of gray. And it's worth it. You know, you do it right the first time and you're like proud of it. But yeah, I guess I should probably do some more of these at some point. They're cool. Even if I don't do anything with them, they're cool. All right, folks. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.